So I'm the CEO, right? But I'm also known as the final boss, which I absolutely love. One of my devs called me that. I think there was like a feature or release or something like that, and he's like, it's the time for final boss kind of approval or whatever. CEO sounds very grown up, and sometimes in many cases it's good, but I'm quite cash, right? So final boss sounds good.
I like it because it feels like you're upholding the highest standard of the company. We've had to work really hard to be able to present this thing to the final boss or to get the approval. This is definitely going to be
to my team,
battle.
If you're listening, that's exactly what... Hi.
Welcome to Reply Girls.
Thank you.
Would you like to start by reading your Twitter bio?
Yeah.
Okay, so final boss at Bebop, which is my startup. Vibing GMCI. Chaotic good, ex-obsessive gamer, always champagne socialist.
I worked in a corporation actually for a long time in my career, and then so it was financial market fintech, corporate fintech, London Stock Exchange Group. And then I found myself in crypto. I joined Wintermute in 2021. It's obviously a massive crypto native trading firm. At the time in 2021, it was growing like crazy, and it was like a 30 people company, but already operating at insane scale. And so it was like a great transition for me, I think, like from the corporate to something that has scale, but at the same time is a very dynamic startup. And then Wintermute wants to incubate their own projects. And so I like to insert myself into things.
Yes.
And then I was helping out a little bit. And then I was thinking, well, okay, like to make this into a business that runs properly and independently, it needs to be set up properly, run properly. And that's where I made the decision to leave Wintermute and run Bebop. One big thing that we offer, it's very unique, is quality. Quality of execution, quality in the sense of guarantee of fill, as well as guarantee of price. Crypto, especially DeFi, has historically had and probably still has incredible tolerance for failure, like for failed transactions, for things that don't work properly, for getting rugged, those different things, right? And so, and it makes sense, right? Okay, because
we're
like,
early.
Because if you can get rugged, or if your like token can lose like 99% of its value, like within a matter of minutes, then maybe like every 10th transaction trade you put through doesn't work, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
And so that's like the status quo. However, with things like AI agents, or as I call them, automations, and things like chain abstraction, all this sort of stuff, where basically you have a chain of different events happening, and there is like a swap as part or multiple parts of this chain. For the chain to complete, you need to have a very reliable each step, right? And so, from our perspective, Bebop offers 100% fill rate, 100% guaranteed price. And that's something that makes those complex automations, AI agent services, actually reliable. And I think a big part of UX is reliability, because if you're placing an order, if you're asking like someone to do something for you, you want it to happen, right? You don't want it to
It would be nice if it happened.
Well, Web3, not yet. In life in general,
What do you think the gap is between the reliability and the expectation in traditional finance and crypto? And has that closed much since you've... Okay, great.
So I actually keep coming back to this one panel that I listened to. It was I think 2021, some conference in London, and they had global head of FX at Citibank, right? And there were some questions. One of the things that he said was like, and he is massive with like global FX, and of course it's an enormous market, enormously important market as well for everything, including like world trade and whatnot. And so he was like, yes, my operation is inefficient in many ways. I do have 1,000 people working on but it's not because they're working on the like 99.9% use cases, because that works. It works fairly well. But he's to realize that if Citibank FX goes down for an hour, that is a systemic global macro risk. And so all these thousands of people, all this tech and effort, it goes into that last mile that makes sure that it works, right? And so like the systemic risk of crypto is just, you can't compare it, right, to the systemic risk that kind of the actual global financial market has. And I guess like the learning from that, well, crypto blockchain settlement, for example, right? It's something that's absolutely incredible. And of course, it creates efficiency, and it's something that I know will come to our lives and to the global financial markets. Are we there yet? Not at all. Why we're not there yet? Because we don't care. And we probably should not care enough about it because it's too early for us to care. We're just getting started, not because we're so early in crypto, but because the opportunity in general is much bigger.
We've seen these waves of interest and adoption from the builder and contributor, whatever that looks like. People want to work in crypto and be more active participants in creating this new thing. I think that speaks to why there's still space and opportunity for people to come and apply their creativity, improving that experience.
The devs build the infra because that's what they like, right? And it's not a surprise at all. The barrier of entry is great, is very easy, it's very accessible into crypto in general, obviously into DeFi in general, with this unknown culture, right? You can be a child, you can be exactly, right? You can be a child, you can live in a sanctioned country, you can be whoever you want, right? You can achieve really whatever you want. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, right? So those guys entered first, right? And then the marketers came later, and then the business people. And so, now everyone's here. And that's why we are starting to do truly great things, and we're going to do more of them.
I think that's a great note to end it on. Everyone's here. We can finally really get into
let's do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on Reply Girls. This
is so good.
And thank you for building something that's focused on quality. This is such a rare and beautiful thing. We should celebrate.
I guess this is my niche, but it makes me a bit sad, right? It's just surely.
No, reorientation towards quality as a differentiator, which I think is really important.